Notice that the second is not the third, but it's not the fourth or the fifth. It is that you gonna get your accolades. You gonna be able to get your comeback. You gonna be able to get your approval. You're gonna be able to get the position. You are able to get it because you were not last at it, but you were just second to it. I came to tell somebody today it is January 2nd. I lift up Moses because I think he is somebody who is pertinently important. Moses is the leader of the Israelites. I know they are the tribe of Israel. Jacob turned to Israel. He was the second child, but he was Jacob turning to Israel. He came out maybe first, but then pulled back in. But he was the second of twins, the second child. I know many times him and his brother fought back and forth because they had to determine in their mind who it was that was able to see the birthright, because whoever came out first many times was put in the second position of place. I say that because Jacob births Israel. The new him, the more purposed him, the designed him, the refined him. He births the new him. He is not his first person. He is his second. I've come to tell somebody today that it's January 2nd. As I close and get off of here, I just wanted you to know that Moses came down that line. He comes down the line of Abraham, God of Isaac, the God of, and Jacob. So when we look at Moses, we look at somebody who is purposed and called, somebody who is touched and divine. We look at somebody who has multiple accounts against him in the court, but he still has the one who's the judge for him in the court. You got to know that he's second because he wasn't chosen to be first, but he's chosen to lead people who didn't believe in God, see God, and lost sight of God to be free. When Moses steps in on scene, God gives him a assignment. It is to set the people free. I noticed that in his story that there's many instances where Moses is opposed by a problem. He's opposed by many problems. First one comes at birth. At the birth of him, notice that there is a siege put out in the land, an edict for every baby boy to be killed. The mama panics and decides to put him in a basket and sail him down the river. And I'm talking to anybody this morning who's been sailed down the river. I know that you were in a panic, and so many times you start acting out of caution, but not out of ration. But God didn't want you to run from it. He wanted you to just float in it. You got to believe that God will create a way, make a way, still be the way, even if you cannot see it all the way through. He makes it on to the step, makes it on to the porch, makes it on to the riverway where where Pharaoh's wife can see him, and then she got him. You got to know that you are destined on the path that God meant for you to be on. It doesn't matter if you made the grade, if you passed the class, if you got the position, if you got the title, if they paying you right or they handling you wrong. It doesn't matter if he dumped you, if she ran away from you, if they walked away, if they closed the door on you, if they want to racially profile you. It does not matter if they want to spit on you or dispute you or talk bad about you or just hold you hostage to everything that they have you building their dream for them, nothing for you. It doesn't matter, but God has positioned you and he has purposed you. Know that at the end of it, that God only allows you to come to a place where you're able to be picked up by his divine hand of grace. I noticed that from the time he was walking, he was getting into trouble. I imagine Moses being able to run freely, but still being held by the tongue, being held by the voice, by the scream of Pharaoh and his wives telling him, don't knock over the vase. Don't run too fast in the palace. You got to slow down. I think it's his feet that fail him, that get him in trouble. I bring that up because I notice when he leaves the house of Pharaoh, he's found in the desert killing an Egyptian. It's where he runs away from that, and that's where his journey starts while he's running. I imagine that he ran track before this. I imagine he ran around the courtyard, or he played ball with the other Egyptian kids there. Even though he's an Israelite, he fits right in because his feet are used to running. You got to know that he outruns the Egyptians because they were trained, but they weren't born for what he was called to do. He's running from Pharaoh. He's running from the Egyptians. He's running from people. He's running from his purpose. He's running from his passion, but he finds himself in the presence of God and cannot run. You notice when God calls him up on the mountain, he tells him several times, I'll need you to note where you're standing. You're standing on holy ground. Take your shoes off. I only want to cap off there for 1 second, and then I'll be out of your way. I got to tell you on today, when Moses steps in on God's scene, he's not standing there as a sinless person. He's standing there as a murderer, as an abuser, as a manipulator, as a sinner. He's standing in front of him. And I got to tell you today, no matter what you look at, no matter how you look at it, you only stand in front of him just as you are. You can dress it up, you'll still be a sinner. You can make it up, you'll still be a liar. You can tailor it up, you can talk it up, you can curve it right, you'll still be everything that's imperfected wrong. But God still loves you and allows you to stand here in front of the throne of grace. Moses stands there, but God has to correct him. Says, your shoes, I need them to come off. Now hear me. I know many times we ascribe the shoes to just be cosmetic. It's something on the outside. It is material, tangible. But God, if I could share with you, let me give you the significance of your shoes. Your shoes are leather hided, which means they are a cowhide in leather bound form. They're strapped to his feet, but he's been running. Now, this is before we had the modern technology of today. And so I know they're not temperature treated. And so I think many times when he's running, they're melting. He's wearing molted shoes in the desert, so they're sandy, which means that they're hardened. Can't hear nobody. They're hardened, molted, leather-bound shoes on his feet, and he's now walking around the wilderness 40 years. The Bible says that when they come to the place of coming out of the wilderness, their shoes did not wear from tear, nor was their clothes torn from wear. You have to know this, that God preserved it, but watch this. He required Moses to take it and release it. What happens when the thing that's hard for you is because God hardened it on you? I can't hear nobody. I'm talking about what you're called to do is difficult, but you're still called to do it. But God is the one who's making it hard for you to see it on how to do it. I'm talking about you're called to love people who you know don't like you, can't stand you, talk bad about you, and hate you. You're called to work in places where you know they plan you, won't promote you, ain't gonna give you the right accommodations that you need to. I'm talking about driving something that you know is above you, beyond you. It's hard for you. It's insignificant around you. It gets played about. Kids ain't really acting right at it. Home life ain't even going right. I'm talking about God making it hard for you and still requiring you to walk in it. He walks up the mountain, Moses does. He walks up the mountain with the people who are the heads of the family behind him. Catch this. And he tells them, I know y'all were good, so thank you for coming, but stay right here. There are some people who are in your life who are good for the journey. But when you come to your destination, you have to know that the rest of the way is only me and God today. It is personal, the journey that you're going on, where God is leading you to. I'm not saying people cannot come. Here's what I'm saying. Tell them when and where they need to get off. You can't leave certain things up to chance in this season. Know that God has placed you. God has propelled you and allowed you to walk here, not for you to hold hands with anybody and give admonishment to them, but to hold hands and look forward to the God who calls you to the burning bush. Now, when he gets up to the point where God finds him by himself, he says, take off the shoes. I know that his shoes are molted. I know that his shoes are sanded, so they're grounded. I know that his shoes have hardened. I know that his shoes carry a story because they're on feet that had to carry them, so they're hurting. God tells him, takes off your shoes, which represents the hurt. Take it off. Take off your shoes, which represents old paths that you have walked and only known this way to be comfortable. So you take this way, even though it's not the right way. It's the easy way. It's the complacent way. It's the convenient way. Take it off. It says, take off that stammering tongue where you would doubt you and stop speaking life over you, and you stumble over every word that is positivity over your own self, but you could speak it over them. Take it off. Take off the bad habits. Take it off. Take off the initiative to say that God hasn't been with you and didn't lead you and didn't care about you and has not propelled you and solidified you and called you. Take off that. Take off everywhere where the enemy would fight you and you would be defeated before he ever showed up for the match. Take it off. Take off the idea in your mind to say that God didn't save you. That's why you have to strive as much as you do. That's why you have to save them, or you have to preach to them, or you have to pray for them, or you have to go this way and that way. You can't mess up and make up and come and do right because God did not care, or God cared too much. Or he says, take off every implication, every indictment. Take off every substantial evidence that you form in the enemy's mind, in his playbook of time, to say that you could not stand here. God says, take off. Take it off. Take it off your feet. Watch this. Because when you're defeated, you can't stand in my presence. And that's all I came to tell somebody on the day. It's January 2nd. And if you would have been defeated, you would have never made it to this point. But because you've made it here, you got to be able to say over yourself, I am not defeated. I take it off. If every place I would stand that God ordained for me, I'm not defeated here. I am flat-footed here. I can stand it because God called me to it. I can stand and build it because God called me to it. I can stand and live to see it because God called me to it. I can stand and have it in my hands. I can keep it in the bank. I can keep it outside in the garage. I can own it, walk into it. I can live it. I can preach it. I can practice it. I can say that I am flying to it. I can live and see my family get married to it. I can stand here because God called me here. Not to be in trepidation of being fearful, but to be an affirmation of being affirming that everybody don't get here. I only came on the day on January 2nd to tell somebody it's not only my birthday, but it's the day that God determined in my mind of me that if yesterday couldn't kill me, today only revealed to me I can stand here because God called me to be here. That's it. That's all I wanted to tell somebody. You didn't die yesterday. And tell the devil you can stand here anyway.